Welcome back to the Daughters of the Moon podcast. We're grateful that you can join us for another day. And today we're excited we have Spencer Delisle on with us. Spencer is the president, Art of Living Foundations Canada executive coach, global meditation teacher, former cancer and cardiology researcher. Spencer is a global meditation teacher, executive coach, and the president. Uh, read it twice. Of the Art of
Two
Living
for one. It's all
Foundations
good.
Canada. One of the world's largest volunteer-run organizations dedicated to mental health, leadership, and human values. For over 2 decades, Spencer has helped thousands of people from executives and first responders to elite athletes access peak performance and inner peace through science of breath and meditation. Drawing on his background in both neuroscience and high performance training, Spencer has coached amateur and professional athletes, including ITF Tour juniors, NCAA Division One, and professional tennis players, integrating cutting-edge mental conditioning, breathwork, and recovery strategies to unlock flow states and sustainable excellence. Trained personally by five-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee and humanitarian leader Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Spencer has led programs in more than 25 countries teaching advanced self-mastery and team connectedness techniques.
We don't want to.
Before dedicating his life to human development, Spencer worked in oncology and cardiology research at Mount Allison and McGill Universities, later joined Novartis Pharmaceuticals in marketing. His rare blend of scientific grounding, athletic coaching, and spiritual insight uh, makes him mindful leadership. And so we're going to welcome Spencer to our podcast today. Welcome, Spencer. We're excited to have you on with us.
Thank you so much, Kim and Barb. It's a real honor to be here, and yeah, really just appreciate how you both spread so much positivity and really love out there to all your listeners.
Well, thank you so much. And it's exciting because you are also in Canada, so it's always exciting to have fellow Canadians on with us as well. We love having everybody, but it is, dear to our heart when we get to share space with fellow Canadians. So we did read your bio, but can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in this?
Sure. So it's interesting because whenever I get asked to introduce myself, I think of the founder that you mentioned, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Someone asked him once, would you like to introduce yourself? Or would you introduce yourself? And he said, actually, I don't introduce myself. What I do is I introduce people to themselves. And that that is actually what we do at the Art of Living Foundation is, giving people tools so that they can, really unload all that baggage we've been collecting over the years and get connected with that joy, that peace, that enthusiasm, that love, really, that is the essence of who we are, that somehow along the way we kind of got derailed and lost from. But if we're able to learn a few simple uh, ancient tools for the modern age, just a few minutes a day can really make a big difference. So we can live that life that we've been yearning to live and that we deserve to live.
That's amazing because I know actually I was reflecting on that a little bit this morning was just how much baggage we carry in our lives and we forget to put that baggage down as we're kind of moving forward and we are always ever changing as who we are as a person. So how do you suggest to people that they start looking at this within themselves?
That's a great question, Kim, and a great reflection, I think, for a lot of us. And I mean, I would really say that neither at home, I mean, really, nor at school do we learn how to manage our mind and emotions and connect with our spirit. We come from all kinds of different backgrounds, different faith-based, and we have our ways, perhaps through prayer or other aspects. But often, there's a lot of, mental vacillation, and a lot of stress that clouds, our judgment and our ability, to connect with ourselves. So that's principally what we do at the Art of Living. We've been around now. It's actually our 45th anniversary of the Art of Living.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And like we were sharing just before, I live at a beautiful yoga and meditation wisdom retreat center in Saint-Mathieu-du-Parc, Quebec, in Canada. And this is our 35th anniversary as of June 1st of this center. And yeah, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar really created this whole foundation as a movement to create a stress-free, violence-free society. And the way we think about it is that, once you're able to cultivate and connect that to that peace and that joy and that love within, then you become like the lighthouse for everybody else. And only a lit candle can light another, right?
Yes, correct.
So that's the idea, by equipping ourselves with some of these tools. We're now, if you can believe it, in over 180 countries. There's 40,000 teachers that teach our programs around the world. Believe we're over 800 million lives touched. And it all started with Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, a service project and a desire to see how he could lighten, the load and the burden that people have on them. And I would say that's the one of those few people I've met in the world that doesn't want anything from you, just wants you to have a smile on your face and and be happy. So yeah, that was really the impetus of the foundation. And I think that if we're able to learn a little bit about the nature of who we are, like for instance in yoga, we talk about, 7 layers to our existence. There we go, seven. Uh, the first being the body. We need a healthy body. Okay, bye, Barb. See you soon. So we need a healthy body. The second one is the mind, a little more subtle than the body. So, mind that's stress-free, calm, and relaxed. Then the intellect, or rather, sorry, the body, the breath is the second one. Uh, and the breath is actually the link between the body and the mind. With the breath, it becomes easy to manage the mind. And then we have the intellect, having a sharp intellect. Then the memory, we talk about often when we're stressed out, we remember these things we'd like to forget, and we forget the things we'd like to remember. So a sharp memory that can also learn and let go. And then the ego, rather than a self-centered, or actually saying it in another way, having an expanded ego where your success, I feel enthused that you're having a success and I get uplifted. And also in the same way, if you're having a tough time, I feel it within me that I want to help you because I feel a connection with you. And the last aspect we talk about of our existence is that seventh layer, the self, which is the essence of who we are, that peace, love, and joy that we talked about. And through these simple techniques with the breath, meditation, and wisdom, we use those to kind of, cleanse, so to speak, all those different layers so that we can experience that reality of who we are.
Mhm. I love that. And I love about the ego because I think so often we think about the ego it's such a negative connotation. And I think when you are saying it that way of, right, I'm excited if things are going well for you and I have compassion for you if things are not going well for you, is such a great way of looking at the ego because I think when we shift things from this negative connotation on anything to this more positive, we just can look at life through a different lens.
It's so true, I think you're right. And I think some people may think to themselves, well, I agree with what Kim is saying because any time that I've been more positive and looking at it from that positive half full angle, I feel better. I feel lighter, and it makes total sense. And maybe there are some that say, okay, well, you guys are saying that I'm peace and love and joy, but hey, I don't feel any of that right now. I feel they may happen to feel terrible and very down or depressed or anxious or what have you. And, one thing we could say is that, give an example of, today it's a bright sunny day where we are in Quebec. You can see behind me. I live in the woods. It's no secret now. And but just a few days ago it was rainy and cloudy. And maybe on a day like that, you could have someone, well, I'll say, the sun is shining bright, but what is the reality for that person? Well, no, I don't feel the sun. I don't see the sun. But if you can get those clouds to move away, you can experience the sun for what it is. And in the same way, we have a lot of tension and stress and little traumas in the system, negative impressions, and those really cloud our vision from being able to experience who we really are. And if you're not feeling that way and not connected with that, it's no problem. It just means that after so many things that you've experienced in your life, no one has ever taught you to kind of, defragment the hard drive or do your spring cleaning for those different 7 layers of your existence. But Art of Living is the school, one of the schools where we can do that, and we can teach you some very, powerful techniques that can help you do that spring cleaning. And then with time and practice, of course, you still feel your emotions, you go through difficult things, but the time that you remain off balance is much less, and your ability to bounce back, or bounce forward, so to speak, is that much more. How about you? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that that's a really good thing, and I honestly I love the self-reflection thing, right? And I just think we really got to be in touch with who we are, and there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with being sad if that's how we're
definitely.
feeling, but it's also just expressing that sadness and
Yeah,
right and feeling through it and allowing those tears or whatever,
right.
but to not live in that spot, I think is my biggest thing, is to pull yourself back out and find that sunshine within. So
Yeah.
if you had to say something to people as far as like what's something that they could start with, Spencer, that would help them along this route?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one thing, just speaking about it, I remember before I started doing all these techniques, I mean, I felt anger a lot, and I got stuck in it a lot. And I also felt a lot of anxiety. And I used to think, oh, wow, I'm an anxious person or I'm an angry person. And I just kind of left it at that. But then, through doing these practices, I started to realize, oh, wow, okay, these are fleeting emotions, and me resisting these emotions is actually making them stay longer. So, being able to, as you were hinting at, give yourself a break and say, okay, who do I have to perform for today? Who am I the marionette of today? Well, nobody. If I feel anxious, well, I can just give myself permission to feel that. Instead of, if I feel sad, I can give myself permission to have a cry. Or if I feel anger, I can let myself feel that emotion. There's a law in the mind that says whatever you resist persists, you know? And it's the opposite of really our own experience with our body. Like if you have something in front of you, say I want to move this computer away, I would put a resistance and push it away. But in the mind, the more you resist an emotion or a thought or what have you, what happens? Just becomes so much more. So I would say, this is such a pleasure to be able to know that, okay, these emotions are flowing. My resistance is holding on to them more. So giving yourself that permission to let go and to be with it then through awareness of that emotion and being with it, it actually goes away sooner. It's almost like a an oxymoron, but that is the nature of our system. And then one other thing I would say is learning a little more about the nature of your mind and emotions and the breath. For example, the mind, especially when we're stressed out, tends to vacillate between the future and the past. It's like your mind is, you're stressed out, overwhelmed, and your mind's in the future. What are you thinking about? Well, worried about this, anxious about that. Or you're stuck in the past and you're overwhelmed and stressed out, your energy's low. What do you do? Well, often regretting decisions or what have you. Um, so, and it's not just one or the other, like we're kind of going back and forth. And I like the analogy of how would your favorite meal taste? Like I love Italian food. So I'm looking a nice, bowl of pasta or a nice slice of pizza. How would that taste if I've been moving it from the freezer to the microwave, 20 times? I
Mhm.
don't know anyone that would want to eat that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I hope not. But then we wonder why we get sick. It's our own mind moving this constant vacillation. So how do we marry the mind and bring ourselves back to the present moment? Well, we need to find something that is in the present moment all the time. One is the body, and the second would be something that we do every moment.
Breathing.
Exactly. And maybe, some people hear, oh, well, Kim and Spencer are saying breathing's in the present moment, but I'm a breathing expert. I do it every day anyway. Okay. Well, there are some very ancient secrets in the breath. And there's a beautiful uh, anecdote about a little story, if people like stories, short story, about this beggar that was sitting under a tree. And for his whole life, he was begging just for enough to get by. And so he struggled his entire life, and then he passed away. And as they were cleaning that area, they were brushing off and cleaning some of the area there. They noticed that there was something buried underneath that uh, where that person was, and they found a huge treasure full of gold and gems and jewels, enough wealth for lifetimes of abundance. And, often we're living that life of that beggar. We're going around, we're begging for this, we're begging for that just to get by and struggle, and we feel like we're never really getting anywhere. Whereas there is a wealth of wisdom within you, and one very powerful way to unlock that wealth is through the breath. Because the breath is always in the present moment, like if I asked you, um, can you breathe, on the weekend and then take a break from then until now? Well, doesn't really work that way.
No.
So breath is always in the present moment. So the breath can bring us back to the present moment. And the breath also is connected with the emotions. When we feel a certain way, we breathe a certain way. Or for example, in anxiety or fear, we don't breathe at all.
Mhm.
So learning about the rhythms of the breath, we can use this tool to not only bring us to the present moment, but to help manage our mind and emotions and actually cleanse the system. And that's what one of the main techniques that we teach in the art of living. It's called Sudarshan Kriya. That's exactly what that technique does.
Okay. And I think that's important because I mean, I so often find myself when people are talking about breath, and I'm a big proponent and I do it when I'm stressed out, if I can remember, but like I do these things. But it's so funny because when people start talking about breath, sometimes I'm like, ooh, when was the last time I took a breath? Because I've been holding it, and I think we don't realize as humans either how long we've been holding our breath or how shallow our breath is, that we're not really oxygenating ourselves. That was a hard word for me. To be able to bring that peace, right? So then we live in this state of anxiety.
Wow, it's so true, what you're saying. And I think a lot is one of the important things that a lot of people will relate to.
Mhm.
I mean, when's the last time you realized, oh, wow, I'm not breathing right now? I've been holding my breath, or, it's something so relatable. And that's the thing, like if you remember back in the day, I'm dating myself a little bit here, but there was a time when you couldn't just look at your photos on a phone. There was a time where you would go to Shoppers Drug Mart or or whatever, and you would develop actual film. And if it was like, usually you would get it back in a week, and if it was really fast, you would get it back in like 24 hours. You remember that?
Yeah,
Uh,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. And there was this thing called double exposure. Do you remember what that was?
Oh, geez. I don't.
It's like like say, I took a photo of you, and then I took a photo of, say, a waterfall. One of the photo film that got developed, it would have you in the waterfall because the images were like superimposed.
Okay, yeah.
And they call that double exposure. And this happened in the film. But the thing is that because of the nature of our lives right now and the nature of our experiences, our minds are not double exposure. Our minds are multiple exposure.
Hmm.
And it's almost like we're wearing all these colored glasses from all these experiences that we've had. And we've just been layering them on for years. And now you ask me to respond to something and look at something, and I see the world as purple. But you tell me, no, that's a white wall, but I see it as purple. And what will I trust more? Will I trust what you're telling me, or will I trust my own experience?
I would think your own experience.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the interesting thing, is that with so many impressions on our consciousness, it becomes difficult to see things as they are.
Mhm.
And it affects our relationships because we end up putting judgments that may not be valid. We're not able also to, we can't perceive the world well because of all that. It becomes difficult to even perceive ourselves and what's happening within us. And then everything is affected, our communication, our relationships, everything. So, yeah, that's the idea of this Sudarshan Kriya I was talking about, is that through this practice of this rhythmic breathing technique, we're taking off the glasses so that you can not only see things as they are, but also experience that depth of who you are, that love, that joy, that peace that we were talking about. Um, and it's incredible, like only 3 hours a day for 3 consecutive days. Can learn from a teacher across Canada or across the world, really, throughout the United States, throughout the world, 180 countries. And then you have a practice that you can use a few minutes a day as a regular practice if you like, or whenever you need it. And effectively, it does that job and then brings down your baseline level of stress. And it's incredible, like the changes I've seen in myself. And it's interesting because now it's just like clockwork, like I do my practice every day. I don't even think about it. But I remember in the beginning when I didn't feel like it, I would think, okay, I'm going to do my practice so I'm less of a headache for everybody else. You know,
Yeah.
and my wife would probably agree with that. Uh, and and yeah, it's been such a beautiful gift, and really, yeah, my wife and I, we both left our careers. I was, as you said, I was working in scientific research, and then I also worked on the sales and marketing side of health, and then she actually owned an adventure tourism company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was taking people skiing in the Alps and in South America and here in North America, and bring them scuba diving and climbing and all kinds of different stuff. And then she realized, wow, do I want to dedicate my life to giving people, a week of respite from their mind, or do I want to give them a tool that they can have it for their life? So she left her career, so did I, to teach these programs full time. And yeah, it's been a really great journey. We're just having a lot of fun.
That's amazing. And I think it's important for that, right? And it's so hard to get new habits in, but then
Yeah.
it's so once you start doing it, like I know for myself, like I have a morning ritual that I do, and it's non-negotiable for me. It's like I don't care where I am, this is
Wow.
what I'm doing. So, right, I do my meditation in the morning, I do those kind of things, and that's just my family knows. They just leave me. They're like, "Oh, she's doing her stuff," right? But I think you have to look at it that way of this is so important to me, and I think what you're saying with this technique would be to, put that into your life so that it's like a non-negotiable. Like, this is important for me to be who I am at my essence.
Yeah, I think I'm 100% on the same wavelength there with you, Kim. And I think it takes that commitment,
Mhm.
that decision like you made. And I think you're a great example because you've realized and that, okay, if I want to be a great mom, if I want to be a great, person in my family, person in my community, person in my job or what have you, whatever whatever my role is in different parts of life, I got to put the oxygen mask on myself first.
Mhm. Yeah.
That classic analogy. I mean, we've all read that, airplane service card, or maybe we don't read it so often now, where it's you and the baby beside you, and what's the first instinct,
Yeah. It's always to put it on someone else before us.
isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, and I would say especially for mothers, it's such a strong impulse that how would I give myself time over anyone else? Whereas the irony of that is that when you do, you become even more at the service of others by being of service to yourself first. And that's a great example you just gave everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, what? And I heard somebody say that once, and I thought, oh, I love that because when you can put that into your mind, it really just creates it in a different way that, because otherwise, I think as humans, we feel selfish when we're doing this stuff. We're taking this time for ourselves. We're, especially as you alluded to with mothers and things like that, you know, well, why would I take time away from my baby, my children, because you need that to show up, like you said, in a different, better way.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. And actually that determines, our ability, to really grow and blossom in our lives. And it's a good point. There's a lot of negativity that we've all been, not all of us maybe, but most of us brought up around. You should always put yourself last. Oh, it's selfish. And the joke of the whole thing is that in the yogic tradition and meditation tradition, we talk about the self as as the same as the soul. And would you not want to put the self first, actually? So actually, it's a very positive thing to be very selfish, and looking at it from that standpoint, in terms of that bigger self, and at least with those practices that connect us with ourself, maybe we need to be 100% selfish with that. And really, I would say that's one of the big steps in maturing on the path of life is that realization. And maybe for some people, it may take a lot of courage, because it's a big departure. Like I know we've had a lot of parents on the course where their family objects in the beginning. What do you mean you're not available 24/7 like you have been for me? That's not right. Okay. But seeing how somehow you've been able to do it and many others have as well. And it's incredible the transformation you can have, not just with yourself, but also it's like you become an inspiration for the rest of your family once they get past this discomfort of access to you. And and it becomes a sense of inspiration, like, okay, well, maybe I can do it too.
Yes.
And you become a real role model for your family like that. And that's a beautiful tradition to give to your parents. We were just talking briefly about how um, we really honor our First Nations people here in Canada and across the world. We have a World Culture Festival that we celebrate every 4 or 5 years to celebrate. I mean, we may eat different food, we may look different, but we're one humanity.
Yes.
And instead of letting our diversity draw us apart, let's celebrate that diversity. Let's celebrate that universal wisdom. Um, I feel that all the wisdom in the world belongs to you. And why, we should be able to learn from everyone. And and with that being said, this tradition that we teach, it comes from many thousands of years from India, from these masters, these women and men that have passed down this knowledge for so many generations. And yeah, I mean, I think the perspective that we have is that no matter where it's from, if you can benefit from it, why not go for it? Like I'm thinking of myself, like my phone here, it's designed in California and made in China. Well, I am no long I am not Californian, nor am I Chinese. But I benefit greatly from this thing. I mean,
Yep.
sometimes I think I should put it away a little more than I use it, but you know what I mean? Like being able to celebrate, you know, technology and wisdom, you could say it may be inner technology and a different kind of IT
Yes.
from around the world is such a blessing. And, why not incorporate that, yeah, into our life?
I agree with you. I think when we open ourselves up, to be able to receive this knowledge from, different ethnic backgrounds, different lineages, we really open ourselves up to, like you alluded to, Spencer, so much wisdom out there. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's amazing that you're doing what you're doing with your wife and have this wonderful place where people can come and do that. Can you tell us a little bit about your spot?
For sure, yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, the organization was founded 45 years ago by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and now we operate really across Canada. So we have multiple courses happening throughout Canada, many like all the major cities. So really, if people are interested in taking our programs like the Art of Living Part 1 course or Sahaj Samadhi meditation, they can, just go on to artofliving.org and they can find the courses near them. We also have a lot of events and activities happening, so a great place to plug in there as well. My wife and I live at the Art of Living Retreat Center, International Center, and we are tucked into the wilderness between Montreal and Quebec City. We have about 350 acres here, and really, we have an incredible team. We have an incredible director and a big staff here running the whole retreat center. You can come, you can come and take a meditation course, breathing course with the part one, learn the Sudarshan Kriya. We also have an Ayurvedic spa. For those of you that don't know what I just said, there
I was
is,
gonna I was gonna say I always mess that word up, but
yeah.
but yes, please do tell people what that means.
So that's right. So Ayurveda is a very ancient healing system from India. Um, Aryu means life and Veda means science. So it's the science of life. And this is a very ancient practices of healing, of massage. The Ayurvedic doctors are called Vaidyas, and they can do a pulse diagnosis where they put their three fingers on your pulse, and they can do a full body scan, tell you what's going well, what needs improvement, and they can give you some, kind of a prognosis of some herbs and different lifestyle changes you can make, as well as some treatments to get done. I'll tell you, we have a vast variety of treatments and massage and energy work that happens here. Some involve oil, some involve steam, some involve just touch, like marma, as well as Medichikitsa, beautiful energy work. And the changes that people have felt are really beautiful. So we have a number of retreats, even just for the Ayurvedic spa. Then we have a huge Japanese pagoda style meditation hall that can we've had about 750 people in there doing yoga, and so we can meditate over 1,000 more. And just an incredible place. Like I said, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, he started this place 35 years ago. Uh, Really incredible story, where we were looking for a place in Quebec. By happenstance, we found stumbled on this land, and if you can believe it, Monsieur Bruyette and his wife had been making roads and preparing the land. And he was known as kind of this wacky guy in the village that was, kind of making these roads without any reason. He never knew why he was doing this. And then when he met Gurudev and our team from the Art of Living, he said, "Okay, this is why I made them for you and for this center to be built."
That's
And
amazing.
now it's remarkable. So many incredible stories of intuition and blossoming, and now those roads are the roads that lead to all our different residences and our Ayurvedic center and our chalets and the meditation hall, uh, and the different lakes, the 5 lakes that are on the compound. Um, it's such an incredible place to come and rest and
Mhm.
rejuvenate yourself.
It sounds like
And
it.
yeah, it's incredible. I really hope that you and your mom and your family can come. We welcome all the visitors to come and experience this place. It's a joy to live here. And yeah, we can even include in the show notes if you want the website if people want to take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what is your website if you want to give people where they can find you, where they can find the retreats, the all things you.
Yeah, for sure. So the for the retreat center, it's the Art of Living International Retreat Center. They just go to Art of Living Canada Center.org. So Art of Living, as it sounds, canadacenter.org, and they'll be able to see all the programs, all the activities that we have coming. Actually, we have the founder of the Art of Living. He's coming from India on from June 30th rather, until July 8th. So he'll be here, which is an incredibly precious experience because he's traveling all around the world. I mean, more than 150 cities every year. And to be able to learn directly from him, an enlightened master living in the present moment all the time is something very unique. So come take a course. You can even just come for the day or for an afternoon as you like. Um, we often have a celebration for the Quebecois community here. We're going to have a special Canada Day celebration as well. Um, so we would love to welcome you then, but really we operate year round. So you're welcome to come really at any time. And for our courses that we give across the country, just artofliving.org.
Okay, perfect.
Go there, they can look up our courses. We have courses for kids, adolescents, adults, um, and then we also do incredible work for kids, an incredible course called the Intuition Process.
Mm,
And this is tapping into the kid's own intuition. And in fact, we've opened an institute. It's called the Institute of Absolute Intelligence. And really, we're looking into scientific research to dive deeper into this magic of intuition that these kids that take this intuition course or prajna yoga, and the abilities they have. And it's really a remarkable program, and it's actually revolutionizing education. So if people want to check it out, it's Institute of AI.ai, and they'll see some pretty incredible things. Kids doing archery and getting a bullseye with a blindfold, kids being able to read with a blindfold on. I mean, it sounds science fiction, but we even do live demos in cities across the country and across the world. So to be able to cultivate that inner voice that we all have is such a precious gift and beautiful gift to give to your kids too.
yeah, it sounds like it. I think, and I wonder if you think along the same lines as me, but I feel like children that are being born sort of now and probably the last few years anyways are just at a different level than say when you and I were born, just because I think we've advanced as humanity so much that I mean I think that this program that you're doing is amazing because it's just fostering this even more in these children. But I just have this sense that the children being born now are being born more awake than we were when we were born.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And these kids and these kids in general, like they have a lot less concepts than us. We may have an intuition that tells us, okay, go left instead of right. But because our mind logically, we're thinking, oh no, why would I think that? Let me go this way. And then we realize why.
Mhm.
How many times have we had that intuition? We didn't follow it. And then we thought, oh, wow, why didn't I just trust that? You know? And these kids have a very strong connection with that. Um, and of course, maybe some of your the audience here is wondering, well, I want to do that course. Why is it available for adults? And it is, in a sense that the first part of that course is learning that sky breath meditation or Sudarshan Kriya I was talking about, and that's available to all adults, and it does very strongly connect you with your intuition. But you're right, it is a very special generation that's coming now, and it's really cool to watch and be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I'm watching a few of our grandchildren that have been born, say, last five to now, just a new one, and it's just like you can just see when you look at them the wisdom that already exists within them. So I think, which is incredible. But it's been so much fun talking to you, and yeah, would love to come for the retreat. So uh, Thank you so much for being on with us. And if you had a final thought to leave with us and our followers, what would it be?
Yeah, thank you. One thing I wanted to mention to everybody that I didn't get a chance to is that we're actually Guru Dev, he's going to be at our center in Quebec, June 30th to July 8th. But he's also going to be in the GTA in Toronto. He's
Okay.
going to come July 11th. We're going to have a big event for him there. So for the people in Ontario that would prefer to, go see him in Toronto, that's a possibility on July 11th. We just got the news, so we're getting everything set up. The team's working on it. And that's it, to be in the presence of an enlightened master, it enlivens that within you as well. And he always says, uh, there's no difference between you and I. When I see 180 countries and I see all the projects going on and 40,000 teachers and 800 million lives touched, I think, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit. But that's the thing. Like he just says, he wants to see us go far beyond, and really looking for the best. So that's an opportunity for everyone. And I would say, you know, to everybody, see how you can make some time for yourself, see if you can follow, Kim's lead there and really take the courage to carve out time for yourself every day. Maybe that's to do a breathing technique. Maybe that's to, listen to your favorite music or go for a walk or do a meditation or whatever it happens to be. Taking that first step can make a huge difference. So yeah, that's what I would love for everyone to just take a moment for themselves.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It's been such an honor to have you on our show and talking with us and sharing your experiences and yeah, it's just been wonderful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Kim.
And everyone else, we will see you on the next one.